All right, I'm going story crazy as I promised. This story is about it's not a story, it's more of a comparison. The question that was posed was Meena, Sharonna, or Meena, Sharonna, or it's my homie down in Florida. Meena, Sharonna, or Shonda. This is probably going to be a little long. Meena, Sharonna was a little more short-lived, right? And I met Sharonna around the same time. It was a little warm. It was like this, like 60 degrees. But I was meeting Sharonna around the time when Chicago Foe was coming in the shop. And I was just talking to Jay about it. He might see these things. So, I got to send him a care package. That's one thing I like to do with my people out of town. I'm a good-hearted nigga. I just like to send them a bunch of DVDs and snacks and stuff like the same kind of stuff I would have did as a kid. Like, so sometimes you wonder, like, a care package. I might be some hidden color DVDs, or it might be some Black History books. All like I get my little Professor Griff on amongst my people. So now, this was around the time when Sharonna had the shop. So this might have been October when I kind of got my little, what situation. I got into a situation. So now, and I'll tell y'all about that at some point in time. I will tell y'all what happened. But so around this time, I'm meeting her. Chicago Foe comes in the one-stop shop. On the Foe show, he was a Four Corner Hustlers. He's one of the characters in there. He got this 745, real loud and obnoxious, real fun dude. You know what I'm saying? So he's in the shop. And Sharonna's around. And like I say, now I kind of really realize, and I think maybe because, and Sharonna was tall, I think one of the reasons why I didn't really get on Sharonna so much was because, if you look at the Sharonna story, go back and look at the Sharonna story, is because maybe she was a little bigger than what I was used to dealing with at that time or whatever. She wasn't ugly at all. Sharonna was actually like an 8.5, 9, but she had a little extra weight on her. She was tall. But now the homegirls that used to come over there on Minnehaha, when they would see Sharonna be sitting there with me, because sometimes that's what I would have. Like, if I'm talking to a chick for a little while, or if I'm meeting one, sometimes they might want to get sit in the shop or whatever like that. And then that's their way of sitting in the shop. And so when other broads come in too, that lets them know, like, yeah, I'm with him, and I'm, you know what I'm saying? So, man, that was a fun time. But anyway, so I'm sitting in the shop. And with Sharonna, she's sitting there with me because we start hanging out. She just starts coming up to the shop. I might have went to go pick her up. I don't remember, but sometimes she would just come to the shop and she'd sit there with me. And I think because she felt we're just learning and talking, and she just likes to hang out. Like she said, I like to hang out with niggas. I didn't really care for that too much if she's doing that outside of me, but I guess her uncles or cousins or whatever. But I never clarified that with her, like, who do you like to kind of hang around? Because if we're going to get close or whatever like that, you can't be hanging out with a bunch of niggas. And I don't want to stop you from hanging out. If you want to hang out with the niggas, you hang out with the niggas. If these are your family, but we're not going to play that, you know what I'm saying? I don't do that. So, but I think what she meant too, she said she don't like hanging out with she didn't have no female friends. She said females is too messy, whatever. And she from Chicago, she from the street. But I didn't know details about her. We didn't get into that. I didn't ask women a bunch of details when I was around her that much. The only people I knew, even Shonda, it wasn't a bunch of details, and Meena too. It wasn't tons and tons of details. I wasn't really concerned. I probably should have, but I didn't really know about their birthplace and their grandparents, and I didn't get into all that kind of stuff. We just didn't get into that because we're living a little faster. You don't know if this broad gonna be here for the next 90 days, so we didn't really, you know what I'm saying? So we probably should have. So Sharonna, I forgot my point. Sharonna, she's sitting up there in the shop. So the homegirls are coming in, And some of them pulled me to the side. She's like, man, that's a bad little bitch you got right there. She's like, man, she good for you. And so I'm kind of like, you know, but they were like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You need to keep talking to her and stuff. So the homegirls are coming in there. And then, you know, some of them are coming in and Sharonna kind of looking like, damn, you know, all these little broads. I said, man, they customers. And so some of them would tell them, like we had this one homegirl that used to come in and she had her cousins. Remember I told you she had all these cousins from like 40th and Minnehaha. And I'll say her name right now. She was real cool. She always spend money with me. Her people from Chicago. Her name was Nook. And Nook must have came in and seen me with her. And she was like, hey, DP, you okay? You know what I'm saying? So they give me props.
DP, she a bad little broad. She good for you.
You think so?
Yeah, she decent.
Chicago women will do that. If they see you with a nice looking broad, they'll give you props like, hey, she pretty. So they coming in saying stuff, and you know, and now they kind of congratulate a little bit, be like, hey, who's that? That's your girl. And I'm kind of like, well, you know, we just talking or whatever like that. And so I don't know how Sharonna felt about it, but you know, Chicago women, they quick once they start liking you. But so I'm just like, man, we talking, you know, but I'm not treating her to the left. I'm just saying, like, you know, and so they asking what it is. And I'm kind of like, well, you know, so Sharon's like, we talking or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, like, so they come in and she's like, hey, she pretty as a motherfucker, DP. Like, you know.
Talking?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Boy, you did good. Y'all look good together. For real. DP, you got a nice looking broad. What y'all on? How y'all doing?
You to keep around. So now that's kind of making her ego kind of like, you know, because at first she was like, you getting real mighty friendly with all these women up in here, but I'm selling stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing what I do. So now that eases her a little bit, where she kind of like, okay. So she stays with me the whole time. So maybe that could be kind of a way for her to, you know, say, hey, I'm here with him. You know, so I don't know. But like I say, because of what happened, I told y'all, I spent the night and bounced out at like 2 a.m. Paranoia. Get up. You know, I'm on that. So I'm like, you know, let me get my ass out of here. And, but that kind of fractured things, for she was like, damn, man, you just bouncing at 2 a.m. Like, you don't like me? Like, what's going on? You got another broad? That's what she kind of, so she's feeling a certain way about that. And, so that was kind of short lived. But when I look back, if you say, okay, out of the three, Meena, Sharonna, and Shonda. Sharonna looked a little better than Shonda.
Pick up.
Yo, what up?
Where you at? I've been hitting you all day.
I'm handling something. I'll swing through later.
Handling what, DP? It's always something with you.
We good.
You know what? Call me when you get yourself together. You still owe me for last week.
They all look kind of close. They all red bones. Sharonna, I could tell that, and she had her butters was like this. So when I look back, she was bad. She was fine as a motherfucker. She was super bad. She was a little bigger, but I think if she would have lost just a couple pounds, oh yeah, she would. So that's probably why she was a little arrogant, because she felt like, oh, I'm a red bone, and if I just lose a few more pounds, because her daughter might have been, I don't even think her daughter was maybe a year up to that. So she was kind of fresh, but I didn't know her prior to that. So now when I think about it, I can't imagine how she would have looked before she would have got pregnant. She probably was nothing to be played with. So now, but, Meena, she had all these kids, but Meena was cold. Again, Meena had them long ass butters too, and she was a little more temperate than Shonda. She wasn't really into the street kind of stuff, or she wasn't really like wild like that. But Meena could like wear her hair curly, and then she could straighten it down. So, and then she'll do the fro thing, kind of the, you know, like, so she could wear her hair in all these different ways. So I'm feeling like I got a different broad all the time. And she would do stuff like, oh, you know, I'm gonna wear my hair like this, or you wanna wear my hair like that. She said, you might want to pull it, or you might want to, you know what I'm saying? So she's doing all these little things, and then, you know, hey, I'm gonna lose a few pounds or whatever. So she's doing all these little, but the big ass tribe, you know what I'm saying? And then she could cook a little bit. So, but her temperance, she a mixed girl. So, I mean, she knows she's black, but she's still kind of, I think her dad wasn't really around. So she was down enough to where she ain't one of these, oh, I'm biracial. She'll be, I mean, she knows what she is, but she's still gonna kind of take on her mama a little bit. Sharonna she said something about German at one point, and she like let that German kind of hang, like she wanted to let it be known. So I'm like, okay, she one of these, but you could tell she's from the south side of Chicago. She got that Mississippi accent. So there's no confusion about what she is. But she did let me know that she was kind of mixed. She said she had some German in her or whatever like that, but I don't know if she had white parents or whatever. I don't think she was mixed. She could have been. She looked like she could have been a little bit, but like the picture you see, when you see them pictures, it looked spot on, exactly like her. Exactly like her. AI is scary. Shonda had that personality trait that was a little bit more open and loving. And like I say, and see, Meena drove. Shonda had a car. She drove. I was driving the time too. Sharonna didn't drive. So Sharonna would have expected me to take the role, which no issue, of picking her up wherever she wants me to pick her up at.
Hey, what you want?
I'm trying to get out the crib. Can you come scoop me from 90 for Linda?
For you? Say less. I'm sliding right now.
That I be waiting in this breeze.
Which one I would have did, but she got that Chicago game. So she feel like, you know, nigga, you need to rally up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want you to do this, that, and the third or whatever like that. Because I'm a badass broad. You know what I'm saying? Which is understandable. But I think she would have been a little bit more expectant. But at the same time, she been through an abusive relationship. And that's why she was up here. And then she was in another abusive. So she wasn't up here that long. She left an abusive relationship. And like I say, them women, I don't know what it is, but she had some nigga that was living with her. She wasn't up here that long. She had just been in a shelter. And she moved some nigga in. And the nigga was trying to act aggressive. And her uncles had to beat the nigga's ass.
Don't you this part of the city trying to take your joy, can't let him.
You stole from my niece, huh? You think that's slick? Boom!
Hold still, boy.
You bogus, fam. Thought you could walk out for the whole TV?
Take that and that.
So that situation, I think with her too, I was kind of a little like, damn, you move quick. But again, they from the land, so they start liking somebody, whatever. But you move this bum ass nigga in, and nigga trying to steal the TV. It was just all kind of little weird shit. So I think with me, she probably figured that, you know, but I could kind of tell things were moving. I didn't, you know, they were moving a little quick. And if I would have kept dealing with her, it would have been like the Natasha situation. Like, you know, we need to, you know, we're getting closer and closer and closer. And so, you know, but that's how that situation kind of went fast. Meena, it was a little pressure, but it was more like it wasn't a lot of demand. It was more like, okay, I like you. So I remember I started talking to Meena after. I started kind of talking to Meena after I'd stopped talking to Sharonna. Me and Sharonna wasn't intimate, whatever. Like I say, I bounced out that 2 a.m. So in the comparison, if I had to add them all up, I might be wrong for getting ready to say this, but I gotta say it. I gotta say what my preference would have been. Meena had the best body. Meena, and even when she was losing that weight, Meena had these cakes and these knockers and these hips that was out of this world. But she had a whole full house, right? So I'm like, but she had a nice personality and she had a whip, you know what I'm saying? And she was ducked off in the burbs. So, you know, I'm trying to weigh out what I like around this time. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? So, but now I don't want to spend X amount of time at that time. But Meena, Meena had that body about her, and she had that calmness. You see what I'm saying? I like that. Shonda was just kind of wild a little bit, and she was funny, and she cracked jokes, and she had that wild streak, but she didn't have that physical part like Meena. You see what I'm saying? And then she didn't have the hair like them, but she had, she had that care. And then because of that history that she kind of nursed me back to health when I was damn near dead and stuff like that. So so I got to put that in there, right? But Meena had that, man. Meena had them curves. She had them curves, man. Them things, and like I said, them butters. And every time she come out, every time I see her, I feel like I got a new broad. So I feel like I got 3.
Meena, this your spot?
Come on in.
Whoa, this basement is crazy.
Just wait, you haven't seen me yet?
Oh, I see you.
First day, curls out, cozy vibes.
Works for me.
Next day, big afro energy.
Whole halo.
I like it. Then I might press it silky smooth.
And have me speaking.
I feel like I got 3. So that's what I liked about her. I feel like I got 3. She come out, curly hair. She do the little curly white girl hair. And then she might just had a fro, or not the fro, but the, gets natural out, gets blown out, like out the shower, and just let it hang. And it just goes into the heavens. So her stuff is puffed up, but it'd be long. It'd be a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes she straighten that motherfucker, and then she look like Alicia Keys around that bitch. She look a thick ass Alicia Keys. So sometimes I kind of be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But Sharonna just had that. Her shit was just laid. I never seen her shit nappy. No, her shit just be laid. She from Chicago, so her shit got to be laid and tied to the side. Like her shit got to be laid out. You know what I'm saying? All the time. But she smell real good, and she wear nice clothes, and she a little bossy and stuff like that. And she kind of got that street in her. She had that street zest to her. You know what I'm saying? Not zest like funny, but she had that street zest. She had that. You know what I'm saying? So. But they look better. They looked a little better than, saying, as far as I'm just saying, out of the 3, they looked a little better. So, but Shonda had that, she had that motherly, wifey kind of feel.
You still at the shop? I've been ringing you all day.
In the middle of some shot, you blowing up my phone.
Middle of what? It ain't take 2 days to call back. You know what? Forget it. 1, 2, 3.
That's 40, you hear me?
I hear you. They gotta count it like I'm short.
Last time you was 20 light, so yeah, I do.
Mix up.
Mix up my foot. You want?
Like, you could tell she would have been willing to cook. She gonna clean. You know what I'm saying? She ain't really gonna, she would have been kind of like submissive, and Meena would have been real submissive. Like she gonna do whatever she's told, not to be on no control, not color purple. I done fixed that mailbox, so you can't, not that. But I'm just saying she gonna do what she's told. Sharonna probably would have. She probably would have, but you gotta lay the law down with her. In Chicago, when you gotta break them a little bit, you gotta let them know you ain't no goofy. See, once you get labeled from a Chicago broad that you a goofy, or they just treat your ass any kind of way, they gonna do it. They gonna treat you. So you gotta kind of you gotta lay that law down and let them know. You know what I'm saying? And then and then from then they might kind of fall in line. You know what I'm saying? But I think underneath all the Chicago grit and the pain and the abusive, Sharonna would have been good. So that's my analysis on that. That's what I think. The battle with the red bones, I might call this. So I'm just talking about these are character profiles. These are different character profiles that would have been, if I would have said, because remember, I couldn't give Shonda all of my time. Like, hey, you call me, you need anything, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. So it was it was like a homie lover. They used to call it homie lover back in the day. That's what they used to call it, homie lover. So like, you my homie, You know what I'm saying? You like my brother, but you're not my brother. You can't sleep with your brother. You know, when women used to say that shit, like, she be like, sometimes she say, oh, you like my brother. I'm like, man, you don't fuck your brothers, man. Don't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? I used to get irritated when sometimes she would say that, like, oh, you like, you're my brother or whatever. I'm like, well, yeah, that's after you fucking with another nigga. I said, man, so you tell that nigga that you messing with, but you know, if I tell you, get rid of that nigga right now, I'm ready to jump the broom or some shit like that. It was really Bonnie and Clyde-ish. See, here's another thing too, man, that I want to hip y'all, man. I'm just gonna be flat out honest, and this is something men don't never want to admit, but I'm gonna be honest on this channel. Don't no nigga want to admit that he's been in love with a 304. 304 fun. It could have been a broad that might have been for the streets, or could have been, or, you know, kind of dilly-dallying around. Yeah, we doing it too, right? A 305 nigga, 305 engine, 350 rocket. You know what I'm saying? If you living this fast life and you ain't tied down and you ain't what, quote unquote, what they call a civilian or whatever, like I operated under certain beliefs and rules into which I would never, there's certain things I would never do around my street friends, right? There's things that I vowed I would never do. I would never rat. I would never do that. I would never do, you know, but I'm kind of like straddling the fence to a certain degree when it comes to, like, I'm not doing the same exact thing as y'all doing all the time, but we're around the same world. These niggas riding around with weed and pipes and got cocaine and all kind of shit and all this. And here I am, I'm doing something a little different, but we're in the same world. You see what I'm saying? So, which means I gotta abide by the same principles. But I looked at myself as a civilian. I didn't feel like I was really doing nothing wrong half the time when it came to just the little misdemeanor shit I was doing. I didn't feel like it was a crime. And according to the law, they're like, well, shit, nigga, you ain't selling crack or pimping hoes or nothing, so you ain't doing nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'd have my mixtapes to do what we do, and then eventually when I got to the PC repair, shit, that's 100% legal. You know what I'm saying? So, but to a certain degree, there's a sense of fast life, especially when I had to shop. I had to kind of get out there and do, you know, in order for me to eat, I had to hustle. You know what I'm saying? I had to hustle, man. So now I'm kind of doing some stuff that probably, you know, I probably shouldn't have been doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to eat and feed myself, and then, you know, hey man, I want me a fucking time machine, man. I want to ride the way I want to ride. I want to have, you know, I'm 20 some years old, man. I want to ride the way I want to ride. I want to shop blades. I want candy paint. I want all that shit. You damn right I want it. I just wasn't willing to do certain things in order to get it. But there were certain things that I was willing to do in order to push it on the way temporarily, you know what I'm saying? So, and I did. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. You not meeting no goody two-shoe broad all the time. You might be meeting a woman that's kind of fast too. But a lot of times what happens is dudes will get out there, and it might be a woman for the streets, or, you know, what they call the 304 right now. We used to call them bust downs or hood rats or whatever. You might start liking this broad, and she might stop dealing with, you know, she might stop kind of messing around. That happens. A lot of the murders and a lot of the homicides that happened in the city of Minneapolis, man, is from bust downs. We used to call them bust downs back in the day. You let's say you got like a decent whip or whatever like that. Stack don't tell you. You pulling up in certain niggas' neighborhoods, you ain't from that neighborhood, and it might be one little broad that, you know, you kind of like, all right, you know, this is something gets to do. And you picking her up, but she might be decent. She might be bad. She might have been giving other niggas play around the block or whatever the case may be. She don't rock with them no more. And here you come in a new Caprice or a Monte Carlo. Man, please. They mad. A lot of homicides be happening behind that. It could have been some broad, or it could have been a broad from a different hood that don't give them niggas no play. And here you come along. They might have known the broad since middle school and don't get no play. And now I come around in this Caprice or this Pontiac Parasine with on blades, 212s banging. I pull up on the block, she get in. Niggas get mad about that shit. They do. Believe that. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? And you may not be in love with the broad. You may just be sliding through just to do whatever you do. Hang out with her, smoke a blunt, you do what you do, you go drop her ass back off. Man, dude mad as hell. Cause that might have been his high school sweetheart. He might have had plans. You know? Yo, I'm telling y'all. Ask a real street nigga from Minneapolis or somebody that was really out here or getting it or whatever. Ask them. Ask them, am I lying about that? I know, cause I done saw it. You get, man, a lot of these homicides, a lot of these shootouts, a lot of these arguments, club, all that, man, you be over 304. It don't be over no Felicia Rashad. It's never ever over no Felicia Rashad. It be over Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. I'm telling you, I know. Because what men will do is they'll say, well, they ain't got no motion, man. I don't care about that broad over there. I try to play that stuff with Shonda with the homie. What you call Lance up for? I try to act like I ain't care. What you call that nigga up for? Oh, well, you know, I had to get your attention. I said, well, you got it.
Really had to go through my homeboy? For what, son?
I had to get your attention. You did me much worse, DP. You had a bitch at your crib.
I know.
Now, when am I gonna see you?
I was mad as hell. I try to act like I ain't care. I try to act like I got all these little options abroad and stuff like that, which I did. But I liked her. So I'm letting her know, so what you do that bullshit for? I said, man, she said, you did it to me. She said, you did worse to me, DP. You had a bitch in your house. I found the drawers. She said, how you think I felt? And I'm like, well, you know, so I ain't had no answers for that, did I? See, I didn't have no answers. I wanted to try to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can't have the milk without a down payment on the cow. I was trying to have the milk without a down payment on the cow. She said, well, you see how I felt. You did the same thing to me, but worse.
DP, you need to be my man or something. A hoe broke. Ah, wish we was together. But you like them bras, huh?
Wow.
She said, so I had to get your attention. She said, and I had to reel you back in. I said, man, Shonda, your ass crazy as fuck. We laughed when we got off the phone. I'm like, man, your ass crazy, man. You fucking. She said, well, she said, you like it. I said, man, your ass is a fucking, you is a, what they call, what the Chicago people, you a bug. That's what they call it. Well, you crazy. You just, man, your ass is a bug. I said, you are so fucking crazy, man. Like, but that's what I liked. You know, I kind of like that. She would kind of have that mouth a little bit where she would say certain things. Like it was even when we were at the house, and you know, I'm talking to Lamb, and she was like, yeah, you know, he don't wanna fall in love because she knows I'm gonna put it on his ass. But see, he's been in relationships before, so bro knows. You know, so he knows what she was talking about. But I'm thinking like, man, I ain't about to get whipped over this broad like that, because with her, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the physical was cool, but it wasn't, that's not what attracted to me. It was her heart.
So broke, I might have to sell ass.
Ah, you wow.
Shit, we hurting, DP. As broke as we ever been.
Yeah, it's tight this one.
You know what I'm saying? It was the reliability, the durability. You know what I'm saying? And she just had this smile that was just, and this laugh that was just, you know, and you know, so those are the things that were like, I could have been laid up in the bed with Shonda and not touch her at all. Just her being around, just being around, and me, I could have been just smoking a blunt or having a drink, and I'm just looking at her, and she gets over there on the couch smiling. That's all I needed. Like I didn't really need nothing else. I mean, I'll take it, but you know, now for her, it might have been a different thing. Like, you know, but to me, it was just the psychological attraction. It was just a ball being around her. She gets fucking a bug. It's funny as shit. Crack jokes on Willie Earl, crack this roast be sick, saying shit, man. It was just a vibe just being around. Meena didn't have that. Meena was more reserved. She's more like,
you're not gonna look at me different, are you?
Baby, we done already did it. Why would I do that?
I never did this before.
Well, we're gonna have to know each other as we go.
you know, Meena's the type that I would have been like, turn around, bend over, and she just gonna pull a pants. She just gonna do it. I'm gonna put some syrup on your ass. She just gonna do it. She's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? She's not gonna have no, you know, Shonda might be like, man, I ain't about to have no sticky. She might do it. Shonda be like, man, I ain't about to have no sticky ass around here. You big pancake face. She said, you old butter biscuit head. You Aunt Jemima face. You know, like she would say, yeah, she would be like that. She might get kind of start to roast me and look like, man, you big old.
Earl look like he started to be mechanic and stopped like no one else in the store.
Shonda, you funny.
Grade egg double face, grade egg jumbo face. You know
You know what Willie Earl look like? Like a shriveled up grasshopper with a toolbox, 5mm wrench head ass.
Yo, you wrong for that.
Tell me I ain't right though.
I'm not saying that. He gonna come for you with that
He
socket
better
set.
tighten himself up first, man. Built like he came free with a ratchet kit.
Ooh, I can't.
she might crack some jokes or something. You know. Now I never got that far with Sharonna because we ain't, you know. But Sharonna might. And yeah, Sharonna probably would do. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what she would do. But like I say, she got that fierce. That's Chicago. So she's gonna be a little bit more demanding or whatever. And what's funny about it is, with Sharonna one time, that's how I said she had that Chicago game. Them women fast. They faster. They were a little quicker. I set my homie. I went to go make a run one day. I said, I'm talking to Jay. I said, hey, bro, I'm about to, cause remember, I'm in the shop, so I'm still hitting the phones. I'm still getting, so I'm getting, you know, somebody might have wanted an ounce or something like that. So I said, I gotta go or whatever. Sharonna she like, hey, I'm about to come with her, whatever. I said, hey, watch back. And she listened because, like I said, she said she like being around dudes. So, cause she be around her uncle. So Jay was like, I got her. So now, I leave. I think this particular time, I think I had to go get. I went to go get some food for us, or and I probably was gonna pick up some money.
I gotta get some money. You hungry?
I don't want to leave. People might see me. I don't want Subway.
All right, let's see what you can find out. All right, folks. So what's up with you?
Ain't much. I work over at the library a couple days a week, trying to finish school. My granny from Mississippi, she the one taught me to knit.
I like keeping quiet. You feel me?
She didn't want to go nowhere, I think, because she said, I don't want people looking at me. So she had that arrogance, but at the same time, she had that abuse. I don't want nobody looking at me. And I was like, kind of wondered, I didn't really get it. Like, I'm looking at you, like she don't want people looking at her. So she had a little self-esteem thing. And I was like, man, she's too damn fine for that. But she had to have that Chicago aggressiveness to try to overhide it or whatever like that, or unless she was just selling it to be. So I go and I do my thing.
So what's up?
Ain't much. Just laying low, trying to keep folks out my business.
I hear you.
But I like him. DP, he different.
He gonna be glad.
And I think I was going to Subway at one point in time. And I guess, I don't know if she went with me that particular time, but I must have went to go get some food. And I guess she said she didn't want no Subway or something like that. And I kind of looked at her like, well, shit, I'm about to go get me some Subway or whatever. So, but I left her with my homie at the shop. And I guess, you know, Jay pulled me, he said, hey, Joe, let me, you know what I'm saying, let me holler at her real quick. Let me find out what she about. So, because that's what my homies would do. They be good on that. They talk to the bro, really see where her head's at. So, he got her to get information that she didn't even tell me.
She purring like a cat. Let me get a turkey on wheat, extra banana peppers.
You got it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Always.
What's good, y'all?
Hey, DP.
What's happening, man? Chilling. Ran a couple errands.
You see what I'm saying? And I didn't ask for it, but he must have been sat and talked with her and might have asked questions or whatever. So, you know, so she divulged information, which she probably know that the nigga gonna tell me. So I go off and I do my thing or whatever. And eventually I circle back around with Jay. I must have dropped Sharonna off one time, you know, or during that day. Jay like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? She was in the shelter. She was in the Asian shelter. And I knew it was the one right over there, I think, by Maplewood.
I'm good. I like him. Southside girl, grandma from Mississippi. I keep things close. Don't need everybody watching me with him.
Yeah, I hear that.
She was in the monk shelter. You know what I'm saying? She up there talking about she don't want this one. She said, goddamn, she had to eat what they eat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's how he talk. He said, man, goddamn, she had to eat what they eat. So she.
Hey, I brought food.
Hey, real talk. She been through something. She was in the shelter just trying to get by.
Yeah.
She left Chicago because of abuse.
She was in the shelter. She had to eat whatever they had. So she was trying to act like she didn't want. So I must have asked her, like, you ain't want no Subway or whatever. She said, man, I just didn't want to be seen. So I was like, oh, okay. So it was a mental thing. She didn't want nobody looking at her, she said. So I was like, okay. But she stayed from Chicago, she stayed in the monk shelter. And then from when she stayed in the monk shelter, that's when she eventually got her place. You see what I'm saying? So now when I look in hindsight, there was that, probably that rejection feeling. That might have been another reason why she didn't really want to rock with me too much. And then I kind of look at it psychologically with the fact that she said, well, she don't like being around females. Could have been a female to set her up. I don't know. But she been in an abusive relationship in Chicago. And then her uncles and them had to stomp out some nigga that she had living with her. You see what I'm saying? So maybe she felt protected around being around men and her uncles or whatever like that. But her uncle was like, he's a good dude. So her uncle was trying to sick her on me to a certain degree. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, you know, I like him. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little too fast for me or whatever. But, you know, like I say, when I used to meet women and if they too quick and I start digging up the bones a little bit and finding out more about what happened, I'm kind of like, well, damn, why are you so quick to let somebody? And I have my own place. So I didn't really need, you know what I'm saying? But it was just so fast. And I think some of that is in that trauma and maybe where they lived and how they were brought up and things are quick and, you know, anything can happen or whatever. That's what I'm thinking. And I've talked to other people from that city and they say that's, you know, people live fast, people die fast, they love hard, they ain't got no time for no games. They, you know, they city slicker, they, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it could have been a little bit of that too. But yeah, it was quick for me. It was too quick for me to a certain degree. Like, you know, I can't, it, like I say, it didn't take long. Oh, bring over the liquor, whatever like that. And after a while, I'm sitting up there thinking about, get up. Man, I ain't trying to be up in there all like that because I'm still thinking about what happened. You know, I'm not trusting. I'm like, I got my own spot. I ain't got to be over here like that. And then on top, now let's look. We're looking at a comparison of these characters now, y'all. Adventures of DP. Sharonna had a situation where her uncles had to get stomped the mud pile out of a nigga because I think he was being abusive. They took the key from the nigga. And them Chicago gangbanging, them old school, you know what I'm saying? Like her uncles must have been up here. They said it was her uncles and a couple of her cousins that was up here, whatever like that. They said they dog pile stomped that nigga. They beat the fuck out of his ass. I think they came to the crib and beat his ass, stomped that nigga well, there go YouTube. There goes gonna ding me on the algorithm. Stomped that nigga half to and made him give the TV back. I guess he took her TV or some goofy shit or whatever like that and made a nigga give it back or whatever. So that situation was very, very similar to the Natasha situation because I remember right when she moved in, we were on the floor.
That's how you move?
It wasn't like that. I just had stuff going on.
Yeah, I see. Like that. I just had stuff going on.
Yeah. I see. You should have called me, DP.
You know what I'm saying? She was from Chicago too, so that, you know, but that was back 04, but you know.
Baby, I've been driving your ride a few days. Tyreek hit me on Black Planet. I'ma take care of you.
I'm glad you kept the car up. I can trust you.
But not enough to be with me, huh?
Raven, no pressure.
Well, I'm here.
So, out of the three, if I had to narrow it down, if I would have had to narrow it down, man. The best character profile that would have been for the young groundhog, coming in at that 09 mark, that would have brought in early 2010. I'm just saying, I'm looking at, we're doing math now. I would have to say,
yeah, I like all these tonight. I didn't like one better than the other. I like them all the same, high level, high quantity of high quality.
Draft pick would have to go to Sharonna. Draft pick would have to go to Sharonna because she had them butters down here. That's what she said. I'm Native American. She said German and black. That's what she used to say. She had that Chicago, Mississippi accent, so I know she could have cooked some collard greens at some point in time.
I make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub.
She smelled like some fresh, brand new BB. I know I said BBL, not BBL. She smelled like some fresh BBW. She wasn't BB. Well, she was kind of. She was a little bigger, but not really. She wasn't that big. She smelled wonderful. She had this infectious smile. She had this infectious laugh. She wasn't loud. She wasn't real loud. She'd get a little loud, but because I ain't never drank with her yet, just that one time. Eventually, I think she would have started, but see, like I say, Meena wasn't working. Shonda used to keep a job. Meena wasn't working at all. So that's why I had to give it. And then Meena had that big old tribe. It would have to be Chicago Sharonna. She would have had to been, that would have been, that if that would have been my pick, and looking at like if I said, all right, but I met Sharonna before Meena. I met Meena because remember, old girl was coming into the shop, and they were homegirls. You know what I'm saying? So Meena started buying CDs. That was on a whim. You know what I'm saying? I already knew Shonda, but Sharonna would have had to have been the best pick around that time. If I would around that time that year, that would have probably been the best pick because she was kind of fresh. So I didn't really know. I didn't really have a lot of history with her. But out of Sharonna and Meena, I don't know, man. Meena was fine as shit too. For me,
Tell you I know how to treat.
Thank you, Meena.
I just like being around you.
You move fast.
When I feel something, I feel it.
It was fine as shit, and she and that body and them thighs and them hips, yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think Meena you know what? Meena might have been a runner-up because she would have still been kind of moldable, but she had 3 in the hole. If it would have been 2, I probably still would have been talking to her at that time. But that 3, I think that 3 kind of did it. And then she wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? But she, so Meena probably would have been the next up. Shonda would have been last because I think, like I say, the Shonda would have been out of the 3 because of the physical part. That's all. It wasn't. She was number 1 personality. She was number 1. But now, I shouldn't say this, but I gotta say it. If you could have slapped them thighs and everything from Meena to Shonda, and then slapped the accent would have been a big thing. But if you would have took that, if I could mix max some shit like Build a Bear, Build a Broad, if I could have took Meena and put her on the Shonda. Damn, got what I want. And it took Sharonna's butters and slapped it on top of Shonda's head, man. I had to honk my horn because of that. Oh, man. Yeah, I would have been like, oh, yeah, let me get that. Let me get that. I got what I need there. I got it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would have looked at it. Because at one point, I was kind of, while I'm kind of going about my business, I kind of want that. I wanted the total package. I kind of want the total package. And this a red bone. Red bone wasn't my preference. That wasn't my, you gotta understand, I'll take it, but that wasn't my preference. You see what I'm saying? So, it wasn't like a back-to-back chocolate. You know what I'm saying? That's who I met. That's who I said, okay, these I like how they talk or whatever like that. But, man, no, So that's my verdict, man. But Chicago Sharonna wins. Chicago Sharonna wins. That's my verdict, man. That's my verdict. You know, so that was the question that was posed. So that's what y'all asked. Y'all asked who would have been the favorite character? Sharonna, Chicago Sharonna, DC Shonda, Meena. But Shonda had the history because we have been cool for years and years and years and hanging out. And like I say, Shonda had that heart. Shonda kind of saved me from damn near dying to a certain degree. So that loyalty don't get cut off like that. And then here's the other thing too. If I would have been talking to Sharonna, Chicago Sharonna, she ain't going for none of that. Oh, you know, you hanging out with Shonda, or you picking up the phone or going to do this for her, you doing all this, you know, she calling you and all that kind of, man. Sharonna ain't going for none of that. Meena might have been a little open to it, like, oh man, who calling your phone? You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't like that either, but I had the flip phone around that time with Meena. So if a broad calls, you know, she don't really know. I cut the phone off or something like that. But no, Sharonna would have been on that phone like, who is that hoe? Yeah, she's from Chicago. She ain't going for none of that. And Shonda definitely not going. Especially if we would have been serious. I mean, who that bitch called your phone? No, she would have picked that phone up and be like, don't call this nigga again. And then she would have warned me like, it's going to be some furniture moving around here. So yeah. But yeah, man, if I would have just built them up, like, you know, like, I know it's kind of crazy, I shouldn't say it, but you know, if I could have just mixed and matched it how I wanted and just build it there, man, I would have $10.99. Yeah, that would have been it. So we're gonna do another story, man. This is the third story today. And we're gonna keep having them come out. I'm probably not gonna do a lot of AI in this video or whatever, so I'm gonna have to I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fix it up. This is gonna take a while to drop this one. I can drop it whenever.
Baby, I've been driving your ride a few days. Tyra kept me on Black Planet. I'ma take care of you.
I'm glad you kept the car up. I can trust you.
But not enough to be with me, huh?
Raven, don't pressure me.
Well, I'm here. Bring me to work tonight.
Okay, get in.
You wanna come over tonight?
At what cost?
Loyalty. You know I don't steal. You know I didn't tell the law a word. I tried to take your car.
Somebody lives with you.
So what? Cut you off, huh?
Yeah. I think the vacation thing made her mad.
I wouldn't do you that.
I know, Raven. I'm gonna be here at 10 p.m.
I care about you, DP, but you a ladies' man.
Show you right, baby.
You like all that behind me.